Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome back. This is the book buying tag. It's a Q&A discussion response video. So this was created by Alex's Archives. So I was tagged by Alex, and he was inspired by Michael K. Vaughn's. So at Michael K. Vaughn 8617, which I will put all these down below. But he had a really interesting video about all of us readers and book collectors, what happens when we die with all of our books. Have we thought that far ahead? Do we have plans for who gets them all? And stuff like that. So it's a really interesting thought I never actually considered before. So it did make me think differently. But anyway, so Alex created a discussion with several prompts. So I guess I will just go through them. Number one, how many books do you own? Physical, digital, audio, etc. I own way too many. I just in physical books, I well over 1,000. I don't have shelves here all that many, only a few. So a lot of mine are in my storage unit. I also have like a truckload or a carload, I guess, that I kind of keep in the interim, so that I don't have to drive all the way to my storage unit. I kind of swap out books. So it's not the best way to do it. I just don't have the space right now in where I'm living. But I also have a bunch digitally and audio books as well. Yeah, it's been over years and years, my whole reading life of collecting them. I do enjoy collecting books, and I do read a lot, so it's not like they're not being read, and I kind of I read them, give away the ones that I don't want, get more, kind of it just keeps this ongoing process. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll have to really cut down on that and do more audio and digitally rather than physical. Especially since I don't have the space right now. But it's really hard as a book lover to do that, even though I'm trying to buy less this year already. It is always hard when you find a really good book that you want and you don't have access to it anywhere else, because I have very limited local library for physical books. So they don't have a whole lot of diverse options always, or the foreign translated fiction and stuff that I've been trying to read more of. So anyway, number two, what percentage of your books do you think you actually have read? Well, since I keep swapping out, probably about half, maybe just under, which is really sad and embarrassing to admit. Number three, what percentage do you realistically think that you will read? I would say 2/3 though. I do read, I buy them planning to read them. And I know there are some that I do buy spur of the moment. And so maybe my rabbit hole deep dives, fixations will change by the time I get to them, and I won't so much want them anymore. But for the majority of them, they are things that I really do want to get to, and I do focus on trying to read them as many as I can. So I'm hoping that I get through that many. But I do think that is a realistic number. Number four, how do you decide whether to buy a book instead of borrowing it? And like I said before, it's a lack of access. If I can't get it through my library, I always try to get it the cheapest way possible. And unfortunately, like I was saying, I don't want to buy as many physical books, but unfortunately, a lot of the times now you can buy really, really cheap used copies that are cheaper than a physical, a ebook or audiobook. And so if I want a book that I don't have access to, I buy it the cheapest way possible, and a lot of times that is has been physical, so that adds to my collection, but I do try to get it as cheaply as possible. And I also make sure that I buy a book even if I've listened to it or read it for free, if it's something that I know that I want to own and will want to have a copy of, it's a beloved book, I can get a cool, like a collector's edition or something like that, then I'll buy the physical copy as well. Number 5, what do you do with books after you read them? The ones that I don't want to keep, I already said I donate them. But there is a bookstore, a local independent bookstore here that does swapping for credit. So I can bring books there, and the ones that they don't take and give me credit for, then I'll donate them. Number 6, what makes a book worth keeping on your shelf? A favorite, a reference, aesthetic, or identity? Worth keeping, my TBR, favorites, really beautiful copies, especially if I can get like a collector's edition, really cool editions of classics and stuff like that I want to keep. I have actually, though, enjoyed keeping used books on my shelves that were previously loved and marked up by people, because I have really enjoyed that experience of reading other people's thoughts. It feels like an immersive, interactive, in-person book club as I'm reading and seeing their thoughts on the text that I'm reading, their highlights, their phrases in the margins, their what they thought was important, what quotes they loved, the themes that they picked up on, all that different stuff. Number 7. Do you use an e-reader? If so, has it reduced your physical book buying? Like I said, it's I read what's the cheapest. I do try to get e-books and audiobooks from the library, so I use Hoopla and Libby for that, and so that has helped a lot. What actually has helped reduce is my listening to audiobooks, because especially for a lot of the nonfiction stuff, I retain things a lot easier with audiobooks, just listening and hearing it and interacting with it that way, that I don't always need the hard copy for reference. I can remember it. And what's also helped is making these videos. I used to keep a book journal with all the books, but that adds up too, because I read so much. So I was having like 10 or 12 of those journals, and you can't find what you're looking for, and it's all stacked up, and it's might as well be having the book anyway. So doing this actually has really helped increase as well the idea of it. Being on YouTube and interacting with you all and getting more recommendations is not helping me buying less, but keeping less, and the need to have physical copies, I get better by doing this, because I not only have consumed the book, but then I'm talking to you about the book, so it helps me retain it a lot, so I don't need books for reference as much as I might have wanted to in the past. Number 8, how often do you have you used the library instead of buying books? Like I said, I try to do it a lot with Hoopla and Libby. Libby offers ebooks and audio a lot more. I haven't really tried the ebook versions on Hoopla. I use that mostly for audio. And then I am just able to listen a lot more commuting and throughout the day, driving, and when I'm sitting and don't have a book handy or don't have the time to actually physically read a book, I can always be listening to something. And so when the library has those options. And luckily they've had a lot of the options that I'm reading for Historathon and stuff, so I haven't had to purchase a whole lot of extra books trying to participate in this yearly event. But that's not always the case, especially when I'm trying to find translated fiction and stuff. So number 9, what's your biggest regret or purchase or category of overbuying? My biggest regrets are usually impulse buys or some classics, because I don't realize, like, especially when I'm buying used version of classics and I'm not like in a bookstore, I don't always notice or realize until I get it how small the writing is, and I cannot like read it well when it's so small. So I sometimes, if it's a book that I really want, I buy the copy, but then I have to listen to it anyway, or get an ebook, because I can't physically read it because the print is small, and I just can't do that. So I do regret that as soon as I open it up, and I'm just frustrated with how small the writing is. For the category of overbuying, it tends to be translated fiction or nonfiction books, just because for nonfiction, I just like really niche things that are not always available for the in the library or anything. And then the same thing with translated, is that I don't have that access, so the only way that I can read them is by purchasing them. Number 10, if you had to cap your library at a fixed number, how would you decide what stays? Ooh. I don't want to think about what fixed number that would be. But I think it would be a 60-40 or a 70-30. Like the 60-70 would be favorite books that I want to keep, and then the 40 or 30 would be my TBR if I had to cap a library. I just don't ever want to have to like think about that. And then the last one is just tagging others, and I'm not sure who has done this tag yet. It's a recent tag, but I've actually seen a lot of people that I already follow and that I would have tagged do this. So I'm going to say Book Chat with Pat, The Uncommon Reader, and I'll write these down below so that you have it. Those are the ones off the hand, but I am going to take a couple of more. Bonnie Nicole, your channel, but I can't remember what your name is, so I'm going to have to look that up. And anyone else that I can think of that hasn't done this, I'll do. So anyway, thank you, Alex, for tagging me and for making this interesting video. It definitely made me rethink my purchasing and my reading habits, and what to do with my many, many books. Anyway, at least I'm not Saracen. I don't want to think about what you're going to have to do with all of your books, but I do envy your library. Anyway, as always, thank you and happy reading.